Hi, my name is Christopher Coleman. I am a fourth year graduate student, PhD student in the Attitudes and Group Identity Lab, and I am in social psychology.
Hi, my name is Raquel Aldana. I'm a professor of law here at UC Davis, and I'm also a co-PI on Dialogues Across Difference grant.
And my name is Lorena Oropesa. I'm a professor of history. I also serve as the Associate Vice Chancellor in the Office of Academic Diversity, which is in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And I also am one of the principal investigators on this Dialogues Across Difference grant.
What is the purpose of this project?
The purpose of this project is to address workplace climate and to support faculty retention. And what we're looking at is the classroom environment where disruptive speech may occur, and that classroom environment could be in an actual classroom or a hallway or a lab. And one of the reasons we're interested in doing this is that the scholarship shows that negative workplace climate affects faculty retention, and we believe our working assumption is that disruptive speech in the classroom can contribute to this negative workplace climate. Our hope is that we can develop strategies to address with empathy and real knowledge and respect for the difference amongst all of us of our lived experiences to affect meaningful change and not leave professors on their own to try to figure these things out.
How are you defining disruptive speech, and how did you get at this definition?
Yeah, thanks. So disruptive speech includes politically provocative speech, harassing speech, and hate speech. It can originate from any scholar, faculty, students. It can be on the basis of intentional action or sometimes inadvertent speech. And it can also be derived from commission, collusion, and sometimes silence. This definition came about from a group of faculty here at UC Davis who were working together in a project known as Friends, which is another project on retention, faculty retention funded by UCOP. I led those discussions, and I can tell you that there was a lot of deep thinking and concern about ensuring that we were limiting the speech that we were working with to speech that really was impacting the learning environment and that was disrupting our core mission as faculty, which is to be effective teachers and to produce an effective learning environment. So as faculty, we care deeply about being able to have robust discussions in the classroom that lead to deep learning. We want to make sure that students feel comfortable having conversations that are sometimes difficult, where there is enormous dissension and even a lot of emotions. And of course, we want to make sure that these conversations happen in a respectful manner that is leading to deep learning. But speech can be consequential. And there are times when these conversations can get out of hand, where they can actually be or be perceived as offensive, unnecessarily provocative, and can frankly, rather than lead to learning, can be disruptive. And in some instances can also lead faculty members feeling unsafe and unproductive in the conversation. And whereas we're also mindful of the importance of academic freedom and free speech, we wanted to ensure that the conversation wasn't about solely the regulation of speech in the classroom, where we get into, what is protected speech versus unprotected speech, and we focus on it as if it were only a disciplinary or a legal issue. But frankly, it's about teaching and learning. And so probably the bulk of the issues need to be addressed from the perspective of faculty in a faculty governance way. So what we're trying to do here, right, is to move it away from a simple treatment of it as a regulatory issue to a treatment of it as a core mission of the faculty member. How do we support one another in learning how to be proactive, to be able to say that the classroom is a robust space for learning that is not leading to disruption.
As a starting point, you are seeking to conduct a faculty questionnaire as part of this project. What is the purpose of this questionnaire?
Well, we really want to have a better understanding of what is happening in individual classrooms. So Raquel mentioned that out of this Friends initiative, there was a lot of sharing of stories. So that's our first challenge, is to gather these stories to really get a a broad and wider and deeper and clearer understanding of this phenomenon, of what is this phenomenon of disruptive speech in the classroom, and how is it affecting individual faculty members. That's our first challenge.
Who do you think should be interested in this questionnaire?
We're hoping as broad participation as possible. First, we want to disrupt the myth that disruptive speech is only a problem of the social sciences and humanities. We feel that there are likely instances of disruptive speech occurring across disciplines in all settings, and we especially want to encourage STEM faculty to participate, because what we want to pick up on is the nuance of how disruptive speech presents itself across disciplines. We also want to ensure that it's not just full-time faculty, but the actual faculty who are teaching our students, whether it's in the lab or in the classroom. So we want to reach out to teaching assistants, to lecturers.
How do you plan to use the information collected from this questionnaire?
Yeah, so the first thing is to emphasize that we care deeply about confidentiality. We know that we're asking for anecdotes, for stories, and that faculty are going to be concerned about whether or not the stories themselves are going to identify them and put them in situations that they don't want to be in and of discomfort. So we want to make sure that we're very careful with that.
What is the end goal of this project and questionnaire?
Well, the end goal is really, it's two parts. The first is we're really seeking to facilitate conversations amongst faculty members who have experienced disruptive speech in the classroom. Another end goal of this project is that once we gather these stories, we are going to be working with the theater group here in Davis to really form composite sketches that can be presented to groups of faculty and then in person, and then also have it available on the web to present scenarios that then would include specific strategies and tools that might be applicable to particular difficult disruptive speech in learning environments. So to address those moments, because right now the mechanisms on campus, there are mechanisms, but they tend to be inadequate, or they tend to be highly legalistic, or and it almost has to reach a level where it's beyond return for any action to be taken. We really want these moments of disruptive speech in learning environments to be moments that foster dialogue.